A new survey claims that the vast majority of people who run tobacco stores or specialist tobacconists oppose the new Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill, which is currently going through Parliament. Among many other things, the bill would impose a complete ban on the display of all tobacco and related products. In other words, shops would not be able to display what they have to sell. Diane Bravo is a specialist tobacconist at Casa Tobacs. Diane, good afternoon to you. Why do you and other people in your industry oppose this bill?
Well, because without being rude, it's nonsensical. I understand that worldwide cigarettes are now blanket, no advertising, etc., etc. But when you're talking about South Africa, that only feeds into the illicit trade, which we learned very well during lockdown. But when it comes to the other products, you have a shop with hundreds and hundreds of items. How do you sell them if they have no place, so to speak? But I feel that because we are specialist tobacconists, we are unable to sell other things. This is our business. It's a legitimate legal product. We have stringent rules. I most certainly do, and I hope others do too. We do not sell to underage. And it's just counterproductive. It's going to destroy business. It has a domino effect on people who work, the workers, the factories. It just doesn't make sense. It's absurd.
You say you should be able to carry on as we are now, but we know that smoking kills people. So why should we continue as we are now?
Well, firstly, smoking kills people, but people need to be educated. We're talking about cigarettes. That has been done for years overseas. There's no labeling. But we're running a business. We're running an entity that is legitimate. We're selling a product that's legitimate. You know, they're lesser objects that are sold there that are not cigarettes, that are supposedly less harmful. But why are we focusing on one specific product as opposed to the rest of the ills of our country? We're selling tobacco legally. We have laws. We have warnings. Why put everyone out of business? It just is very counterproductive. And the penalties are so out of whack, in my humble opinion. You know, people murder, rape, steal. You forget your cigarettes on a counter, you're going to get a fine of God knows how much and then 10 years in jail. It just doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense.
You say that some of these products are supposedly less harmful than cigarettes. You don't sound very sure of yourself, Diane.
I do. I just don't want to open myself up to any criticism in the effect, should someone say, well, are you a scientist? But we try very, very, very hard to make sure that what we sell is legitimate, is top quality. I'm a specialist. I don't sell product that is not vetted by the legitimate importers. You know, I know there are lots of stores and street vendors, etc., etc. My product is 100% vetted by whomever brings it in. It's 100% legitimate. And as I said, we do not sell to underage people. Okay. You can come into my shop in a school uniform and tell me you're 20. I still won't sell it to you. You're in a school uniform. I just think that too much focus is being placed on smoking, which, granted, people say smoking kills. It's an industry. It employs thousands and thousands of people. Why can't South Africa focus on what's going on around us in our country?
Okay.
Crime.
You say you want to display your products, right, Diane? But your products serve no useful purpose. They don't make people healthier. They don't provide calories for people to survive. The only purpose they serve is to keep people addicted to your products. Why should you be allowed to sell them in the first place?
Why were they made in the first place? Is the government going to compensate me by taking my business away?
It's a bit like saying that because someone made a gun, I must use it. Come on, you can come up with a better argument than that.
I'm trying to be very polite. I do not agree with this ban at all. I will state it again, it's counterproductive. There are millions of people who smoke and nothing happens to them. By the same token, there are people that have never smoked and die of lung cancer. You know, the argument goes on and on and on. It's prohibition.
Diane, please don't try and tell me that there's no link between smoking and lung cancer, or no link between tobacco products and lung cancer.
I didn't say that. I said some people smoke and do not succumb to cancer. Some people do.
Okay. You and your colleagues talk about the jobs that will be lost if this bill goes through, right? And I understand that. I accept that as an argument. Why don't you just go into another business? I mean, why do you feel that you must still be selling products that kill people?
But that's a very blanket. It's not a very smart statement, with all due respect. So what do I do with my business that I've run for 25 years, my product that I've spent millions on? You know, go into another business. What would you suggest we do? We live in South Africa. Is the government going to help us?
Well, Diane,
it's a ridiculous statement. It's a ridiculous statement. Go into another business.
Trying to get you to I'm trying to get you to state your case. Your products serve no useful purpose, and the World Health Organization says smoking kills.
And alcohol serves a useful purpose.
Well, that doesn't mean that it should be sold either. My point is, make the case.
But nothing seems to be done. It's only smoking, smoking, smoking.
Diane.
You know, we're going around in circles.
Diane Bravo, thank you. A specialist tobacconist at CASA Tobaccs. Dr. Catherine Egbe is a specialist scientist at the Mental Health, Alcohol, Substance Abuse and Tobacco Research Unit at the South African Medical Research Council. Dr. Egbe, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. I presume you support this bill. Why do you believe that the display of these products should be banned?
Thank you, Steve. And I think that it's very important for us to understand the importance of the bill and why the bill is being put in place. South Africa has been left behind by the rest of the world. If you look at the UK that was quoted in that press release, they mentioned that in the UK, tobacconists are allowed to display their products, and that's not really true. The UK put the law banning the display of tobacco products since 2012 and expanded it to include tobacconists and bulk tobacco retailers in 2015. What they allow is that you can display within your store so long as it's not visible from outside your premise. So it's not true that it's allowed in other places. I think that the bill is there to protect public health. Tobacco is the single preventable cause of death in the world. And in South Africa, it's the same story. Our prevalence of smoking is one of the highest in the world. It's almost 30% of tobacco use, I beg your pardon. It's about 26% for smoking. And that is alarming. In the whole of Africa, of all the countries that have conducted GATS, South Africa has the highest prevalence. So I think that the government should even be doing more. But this bill is one step in the right direction. And any responsible government will do what the South African government is doing. What the tobacconists, the retailers or sellers are saying is just an alarmist approach to responsible regulation of a harmful product. I think that they need to go back to the drawing board and understand why the bill is in place. And the issue about 10 years imprisonment, that is the highest penalty there. It didn't say that everyone who contravenes the law would be put in prison for 10 years. He said not more than 10 years. And now they use the alarmist approach by quoting the highest level. Of course, for someone who does a small crime, you don't expect the highest penalty to be meted out to the person.
So, Dr. Egbe, isn't it also true that this bill, if it is proposed, if it goes through in its current form, actually isn't going to have any impact on smoking or vaping whatsoever? Because you know, probably better than I do, that the illicit industry is now so big it's almost unstoppable. And that, in fact, government has simply failed to stop that from happening. So they can impose whatever law they want. Is it really going to reduce the percentage of people who smoke? It doesn't seem like it.
If we go by history, when South Africa first put the first Tobacco Control Act in the 1990s, our prevalence was almost 40%, was over 30%. And after the putting in place of that bill, of that law, our prevalence crashed. It crashed to the extent it was it was less than 20. And now, because there are new products coming to the market, and these products are not within the regulatory framework of the current tobacco bill, it's only expected that the government will do the right thing by expanding the law to cover all products. And of course, the law that we currently have was first put in place before the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. And that international treaty stipulates to, measures, evidence-based measures that have been proven to reduce tobacco use in countries around the world. And when the law that we currently have is made to align with the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, it is expected that it will do justice to our prevalence figures. It will help to curb it. Because, for example, the display, why is the display being regulated? Because when young people are made to see these products as toys or attractive products, they are enticed to initiate tobacco use. And when they initiate tobacco use, then they become lifetime users. So that, of course, will reduce initiation and encourage people who are currently smoking to stop.
The tobacco industry claims that vaping is healthier, you get the same benefit. I suppose the benefit is being addicted without smoking cigarettes, and that it's safer. Is it true that it's safer?
The short answer is no. There is a lot of claims that have been made by the e-cigarette industry that are unsubstantiated. There is no country in the world where they have made that, they've made that claim that it helps people to quit, and and then the country gave them the permission to sell the products as smoking cessation aids. They've never given them that. And for it to be considered as less harmful, it's a very complicated product where there are so many harms that are constantly unfolding as research on the product is increasing, because it's fairly new in the market. I always say that we know what we know today about tobacco products after about 100 years of them being in existence. E-cigarettes is just, about 20 years or thereabout in the market. There is still work that is being done in the scientific community to unravel the product. And even the work that we've done, that we have in the scientific community that have been done, has shown that there are a lot of harms associated with using these products, and it can't be claimed to be a harmless product.
Dr. Catherine Egbe, thank you. Specialist scientist in the Mental Health, Alcohol, Substance Abuse and Tobacco Research Unit at the South African Medical Research Council. Really appreciate the time.